Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu einer weiteren Episode Danganronpa. Und ja, ich hatte ja eben heute Vormittag heute Mittag ein paar Folgen aufgenommen. Dachte dann, ich nehme ein bisschen Dark Souls auf. Aber gegebenenfalls kommt das Let's Play noch oder es ist schon gekommen. Auf jeden Fall waren manche Episoden so kurz, dass ich jetzt noch ein bisschen Zeit habe. Und ja, ich denke, ich habe in der Zeit mir ein bisschen drüber nachgedacht. Und ich denke, das Beste ist, ich fange jetzt ein bisschen den Trial an. Und sehe, wer erscheint überhaupt. Ich glaube, das ist eine richtig krasse Info, ja. Dementsprechend, lass uns mal reingehen. Ich bin immer noch der Überlegung, warum war dann dieser Makuba Ichibashi, keine Ahnung, warum war der dann bei den Class Trials nicht dabei? Oder hat Monokuma den einfach nicht gefunden? Sie nicht gefunden. Wow, Byakuya and Makoto showed up together. Where the heck have you two been? You just disappeared without a word. We were investigating, of course. How could you not figure out that by this point? Makoto's rank high enough for you guys to go off together. Just the two of you? What, are you jealous? Or are you making some kind of creepy fantasy for yourself? Stop talking and brace yourself. He will be here in any second. Any second. He could show up at any time. When I imagined what was about to happen, I immediately tensed up and prepared myself, but we stood there for 5 full minutes waiting for something weird to happen, and then 5 minutes became 10.
Why?
What's going on here? Why hasn't Monokuma shown up yet? Maybe he died again. What should we do? Should we keep waiting here or what? Jesus! Did I scare you? I demand an explanation. Why did you waste my time and make me wait like that? Wait, I made you wait? I've got all it backwards. You are the ones making me wait, huh? I'm waiting for everyone to arrive. We can't start till everyone's here. Now can we? What are you talking about? Everyone is here. We've all been waiting for you. 9. Sorry, but you're wrong. But we've been waiting 10 minutes now, so it's okay if I punish the one making us all wait, right? If we all agree it's a violation, I will arrange a punishment right now. If it's me you're waiting for, I'm here. When we heard that voice, we all spun around to look. Hey. I'm here and no rules have been broken. Kyoko. Kyoko, you're still alive. No, that's a ghost. Stop talking. If you wanna fight, do it at the class trial. You need to save some of the fun for later, right? But it's okay, there is no particular penalty for being late.
Is that right?
I made it here just fine. What school regulation did I violate? Am I wrong? You're so selfish, so spoiled. You're right, there's no penalty officially, but I bet you will be sorry later. No, I will make sure you're sorry later. Anyway, hustle your butts onto the elevator. I will be just one step ahead of you. When Monokuma was gone, we all rushed up to Kyoko. So you really didn't die? Of course I didn't die. Thank God, I'm so glad you're okay. Perhaps, but that's not necessarily a good thing for us, huh? He's right, now if we gotta deal with a ghost. I told you, stop talking.
Let's go.
Come on, let's just go. Whatever we need to discuss, we can do it during the trial. Without ever looking directly at Kyoko, Byakuya stepped into the elevator. Master, wait for me. Good call. Who knows what might happen to us if we take too long. I'll be happy when the trial is all over. One after another, everyone peeled into the elevator, but I couldn't help myself. I had to talk to Kyoko before the trial started. Listen, before we get started, I have to ask you. Where have you been this whole time? You used that key of yours to go somewhere, didn't you? So, I went to investigate the second floor of the dorms. The second floor?
That's right.
There aren't any monitors or cameras there, so I was able to avoid Monokuma completely. Of course, I also missed his announcement because of that. I had no idea a body has been discovered. Then, when did you find out?
So...
Just now, I finished my search and came back down just in time to hear the class trial announcement. I took some time to go over the crime scene first. I can't go to a trial completely uninformed, can I? So that's why we were late.
However...
I'm sorry I kept you all waiting. But if you were on the second floor of the dorms, then what's what the key you found goes to? Actually, to be precise, not quite. I used Monokuma's secret tool, which can open any lock in the school. What?
Just a second.
Hey, what are you two doing? Hurry up before we get in trouble with Monokuna.
Makoto.
We can go all over the details after we got through the trial, okay, Makoto? Right now, I just wanted to focus on surviving our current situation, because this is probably the single most crucial moment so far for me. For her? That's a strange way to put it. The class trial is important for everyone, right? So why would she say it's a crucial moment for her?
Goodbye.
Well, if that's all... Seemingly unconcerned, Kyoko made her way to the elevator and just overthink what she... For her... Being the last one left, I stepped into the elevator. Sie muss nur überleben. Weil sie Ultimate Despair umgebracht hat. This time the clunking was loud enough to hurt my ears, and the dread began to consume me once again. I can't imagine ever getting used to the mental pressure that comes with preparing for an execution. In that dusky darkness nobody said a word. We just stood there silent and still. After an immeasurable period of time, the doors opened without a warning. A dazzling light penetrated every depth of my eyes. But it wasn't the illumination light of hope. It was the blinding light of despair. Another class trial.
I can't wait! I can't wait!
I've been waiting for this. I feel like it's been forever since we got together like this. The time for pointless jokes and jabs has passed.
Thrills, chills, kills!
Let's get on with the show. And so the curtain opened for the 5th time. A deadly judgment, a deadly deception, a deadly betrayal, a deadly riddle, a deadly defense, a deadly fate, a deadly class trial. So, ich bin eigentlich ziemlich zufrieden. Time Limit ist egal. Steady's your aim a little. Was habe ich noch so? Also to reload 2 bullets at once. Oh, das fand ich eigentlich ganz... Finde ich ganz praktisch. Okay. Das equip ich, bis ich noch einen Skill Point bekomme und dann würde ich das equippen. Hier, Handiwork. Okay.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial.
Okay.
So, your votes will determine the results. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment.
But if you picked the wrong one...
Then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate. Okay, well, I'll leave the rest up to you.
Well then, let's discuss the specifics of the victim. First, we need to clarify who exactly the unidentified victim is.
Yes.
It's Kyoko. There's no other explanation.
Voll Idiot.
Kyoko's standing right there.
No, that's a ghost.
But she has legs and stuff.
Well, that's just because she's like the latest evolution in ghost technology.
There's a limit to how much ridiculousness I can tolerate.
Same.
Okay. So I just have to prove that the corpse isn't Kyoko, right? Then let's compare Kyoko's traits to the traits of the dead body.
Her traits?
One important that proves the body doesn't belong to her.
I got it! I'm talking about her gloves. They'll give us some insight into the mystery. I'm sure of it.
In that case, I think it would be helpful if someone explained why she actually wears those gloves.
And would you happen to know the answer?
In fact, Monokuma told me. Apparently you have scars on your hands you don't want anyone to see.
Oh, you know, now that I think about it, the corpse wasn't wearing any gloves, right?
They probably just got burnt up in the explosion. I'm not convinced. The ghost is just trying to fool us all.
There's no way that corpse was Kyoko, but if I can't prove why, we're gonna be stuck here and that case won't move forward. So I don't have a choice, but...
That Kyoko there is just a ghost.
Impossible.
Okay, then prove it. Prove she's not a ghost.
The dead body wasn't wearing gloves.
They got burnt up in the explosion.
Then she was wearing gloves before the explosion?
Well, yeah, she must have been wearing gloves.
No, it's wrong.
Wegen den Fingernägeln, die waren zu lang, dass man hätte Handschuhe tragen können.
No, there's no way the corpse was wearing gloves. Whoever it was, they were wearing fake nails, remember? I imagine trying to wear gloves over nails like that would have been a pretty big pain. Besides, Kyoko wears gloves to hide her hands, right? It'd be pretty weird for someone who's self-conscious about their hands to wear fake nails. Don't you think?
Jeez, man, you don't know women, huh? They're complicated like that.
If anyone doesn't know women, it's you.
Well, Kyoko, any thoughts?
These gloves were custom made to the size of my hands to make sure they don't interfere with my daily life. If I wore fake nails, the gloves wouldn't fit properly.
Then that's that. The dead body doesn't belong to Kyoko.
Which should have been obvious since she's standing right here.
Okay, so then, who's the real victim? First, we need to figure that out.
That's the first thing I said. You're the one who's been dragging us around in circles.
Before anything, we have to identify the victim. Everyone starts from there. Everything starts from there.
If Kyoko really is still alive, then who died?
There's gotta be some way to figure it out. I don't think so. The face was scorched beyond recognition. And there wasn't any description in the Monokuma file. Well, if we can't identify the body...
Then there's nothing else we can do, right?
Okay.
If Kyoko really...
Then who died? There's gotta be some... I don't think so. The face was... And there wasn't any description in the Well, if we can't identify the body...
No, it's wrong.
Oh, ich hab's mittlerweile komplett verstanden. Also es ist klar, dass die Leiche der 16. Student ist.
There was one clue left behind that we can use to identify the body.
What? If you're lying, you'll die a cruel and unusual death.
Moment, das bedeutet aber...
Cruel and unusual death. This I gotta see.
Das war Ultimate Soldier.
She's just being stupid. Ignore them, Makoto. Tell us what you're talking about.
Warum hat Kyoko gesagt, dass sie die Ultimate Despair ist? Also die...
The key to figuring out who it was is the tattoo on the back of her hand.
Oh yeah. The design's pretty strange, huh? Is the... Her master must have made her get it. To be like, you're my bitch.
Seriously? You really did something that humiliating?
No, that's not it. The identity of the victim is hidden within that tattoo.
Oh, really?
Ich finde es übrigens interessant, man kann bei meinem Mikrofonständer an dem Eisen erkennen die Spiegelung von meinem Bildschirm. If you compare the tattoo and to other information we have... Ja. Das muss dann...
I got it! The Fenrir Mercenary Corps. That's the name of the military group Mukuro Ikusaba belonged to.
Okay, so...
To show that they're a member of the team, each soldier that joins the squad would get a tattoo representing Fenrir somewhere on their body.
Fenrir?
The image that presents Fenrir is... Dog! Wolf. Now you understand.
Now I understand. The representation of Fenrir is a wolf.
Fenrir, the Wolf of Ragnarok. It's from Norse mythology. A huge, world-ending wolf beast. He's the child of the trickster god Loki, and a female giant.
Man, After all this time, we finally got a glimpse of the literary all-star.
A wolf tattoo. Then that means...
Exactly. The body we found had a tattoo of a wolf, which means that person must have once belonged to Fenrir. So it must have been Mukuro.
What?
Hold on. Isn't she the one that was behind this whole thing?
You sound surprised, but you're absolutely right. Yes, indeed. The trial this time is to solve the murder of Mukuro Ikusaba.
Are you saying the mastermind is dead? And now we have to have a clueless trial?
No. It means we were wrong in thinking that Mukuro was the mastermind at all.
But I mean, being the ultimate despair seems like a pretty mastermindy title to me.
Maybe we shouldn't have been thinking of her as the ultimate despair in the first place.
Yes, this ultimate soldier.
After all, looking at her profile, I didn't see anything that would fit such a description. All it said was that she was the ultimate soldier. If I remember correctly, that other information came from Kyoko. That's what you told Makoto, right?
So that means Kyoko got it wrong?
Who was she? Who was Mukuro Ikusaba? She's been gone this whole time? And when she finally turns up, she gets killed. Usually when there's a scene where an important character dies, it has a lot more detail.
So you're saying she wasn't an important character, which would mean she was the same as us. Just another participant.
Then who's the real mastermind?
It must have been the Hope's Peak Academy headmaster after all.
No, the headmaster has nothing to do with it.
But how can we trust that? We already know your information about Mukuro was wrong.
My information was not wrong.
Okay. We're in the middle of a trial right now. Figuring out who killed Mukuro is first and foremost. Please limit all future prattle, chatter...
Kann man mehrere Ultimates gleichzeitig sein?
Possible.
Der Gewinner einer... Es gibt mehrere Games hintereinander. Der Gewinner ist der Ultimate Despair. Folglicherweise kann man zwei Titel gleichzeitig haben. Der Gewinner will Graduate. Graduate bedeutet einfach nur beim nächsten Game mitmachen. Okay.
Uncovering the identity of the mastermind will have to wait.
Und ein Soldier ist Ultimate Survivor, quasi.
No matter what happens, we will find out who you really are. I stake my family name on it.
I have officially decided to completely ignore all such attempts at provocation. Now then, just so nobody's confused, let me state this one more time for the record. The reason we're having a class trial is because a murder among the students has taken place. Hammer that point straight into your big ol' brains!
What you're saying is that both the victim and the culprit are part of the student body?
Then, one of us killed Mukuro?
Wait, no! There's a chance that there's some mystery 17th person who's been hiding all along!
Nope! There are only 16 students in total that have been taking part in these events.
Seriously? Then one of us killed Mukuro?
Who did it? Who's the killer this time?
Get a hold of yourself. We've already narrowed down the list of possible suspects.
Huh?
I'm sure you realize who I'm talking about, right, Makoto? Who the evidence points to?
Based on the there can only be two.
I got it!
Ich und Kyoko.
You've narrowed it down to Kyoko and me, right?
Why do you say that?
Allow me to explain. Just after nighttime last night, I went to the garden. So I can confirm that at that point, there was no dead body there. So, the murder must have taken place after I left the garden. However, Hiro, Toko, Hina, and I were in the gym the entire time.
The gym?
That's right. The four of us were there trying to dismantle Monokuma. The whole time we were very careful not to go anywhere alone. We even went to the bathroom in pairs. All of which is to say, the four of us all have alibis. The only ones without alibis
Are me and Makoto. That's why you're able to narrow down the list of suspects.
Exactly so.
So the only suspect No, I mean Kyoko, damn it.
I have something I'd like to say regarding the whole alibi thing.
Are you thinking of raising an objection?
Well, before that, I just want to try and get a better idea of what time the murder took place. Doing that might reveal some kind of clue.
Whatever you want. Somebody go ahead and help him out.
Me and Byakuya can both confirm that the body wasn't in the garden at, well, it was after nighttime for sure. I'd say it must have been around 10 o'clock. So the murder must have happened after 10 p.m.
Then I guess we can say the time frame for the murder was between then and when we found the body? Oh, but what time did we find the body?
The one who saw the body first was Toko, right? And she went to go get the pickaxe.
I got it! The body must have been discovered at 9 a.m., since that's when Toko went to get the pickaxe.
Ja, das ist klar.
He's right. It had to be around then.
So we can be totally sure the murder happened sometime between 10 at night and 9 in the morning.
Da bin ich auch schon drauf gekommen.
I was already asleep before nighttime hit, so I don't have an alibi after 10 o'clock. But I'm sure I met up with everyone else before 9 this morning.
We ran into each other in the dining hall, right? That was around... Oh yeah! Right around 7:30. I remember checking right before I went in, so I'm totally sure about it.
Which means from 10 p.m. to 7:30 a.m., you don't have an alibi.
Ja, der Mörder between... Es gibt ein Alibi. I have to make clear when the body ended up in the garden. Ah, Moment, die Fragments.
We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, and Makoto doesn't have an alibi for most of that time.
Yeah, from 10 o'clock to 7:30.
That's more than enough time to commit murder, I should think. So Makoto, if you have any objections, now would be the time. We've established a time. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning. Yep.
And Makoto doesn't have an alibi.
Yeah, from 10 o'clock to 7:30.
Shoot!
Oder meinst du die Springkiller?
It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, and Makoto doesn't have...
Yeah, from to 7:30.
Achso, muss ich das am Anfang machen.
We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night.
Okay, ich lasse es nochmal durchgehen.
We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, and Makoto doesn't have an alibi for most of that time.
Yeah, from 10 o'clock to 7:30.
That's more than enough time to commit murder, I should think. So Makoto, if you have any objections, now would be the time.
Da steht da, there's something that happened in the garden at the same time every morning. Thinking that the corpse was totally dry, in which case, okay.
We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night.
No, that's wrong.
Das Problem ist, ich bin schon Steps ahead.
Actually, the murder couldn't have happened anywhere near 10 o'clock.
And what makes you say that?
Because of the sprinklers in the garden. The sprinklers are set to go off right at 7:30 every morning, right? So if the body had been in the garden before 7:30, then it should have been completely soaked.
Oh, hold on. I remember this part perfectly.
Aber es gibt die
The
Tarp.
body was wet. Dripping wet, in fact.
sorry, Toko, but you're wrong.
I'm wrong? How? Are you saying only the mouth down south was wet? How dare you spew such indecent words?
No, I'm saying that the body was wet, but not because of the sprinklers.
What do you mean by denying the sprinkler? Are you trying to deny my entire existence?
Man,
If you really think you...
I need to prove that it wasn't the springs that got body wet. All I have to do is...
I admit nothing. I hate you. No, no, no! You don't know anything!
Das wollte ich mal besser hinbekommen.
Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. I hate you. No, no, no! You don't know anything! Hold on! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. I hate you. No, no, no! You don't know anything! How can you say it wasn't the sprint?
This should prove it.
Kann ich ausreden lassen.
Just remember what the body was like after the explosion, and you'll see why it wasn't the sprinklers. The top half of the body was wet, yes, but the bottom half was completely dry.
Yes.
If the sprinklers got the body wet, shouldn't the whole body have been wet?
So they only got the top wet? The bottom is completely dry? What a brutal maniac! I'm so sick of her.
Let's just move on. The reason only the top half was wet was because... while the body was still on fire, I doused it with water. But only the part on fire, the top half.
Oh, then I guess the sprinklers really didn't do it.
So if the sprinklers didn't get the body wet, then the murder must have taken place sometime after the sprinklers turned on at 7:30 in the morning.
Byakuya, warum hast du mir das Wasser in die Hand gedrückt?
which means she must have been killed sometime between then and when the body was discovered at 9.
But Makoto's alibi was only missing from 10 o'clock last night to 7:30 this morning.
So there's no way Makoto could have done it. I guess you had an alibi after all. Good for you.
In which case, the only one left without an alibi is Kyoko.
Kyoko's the only one without an alibi, which would mean that Mokuro's killer is... No, I refuse to believe it. Kyoko murdered someone
I'd
that's...
just like to say one thing. If you vote for me, and I die here, the mystery of this school will stay hidden forever. Which is why I can't let that happen.
Huh?
So are you saying you're not the culprit?
Nein, ist sie nicht.
Of course I'm not. I have no reason to kill anyone. This is a trap the mastermind has laid for us.
A trap?
We're this far into the game and now you decide to blame me? Stop wasting time! Stop wasting energy! You really think your little trick is gonna work?
Shut up, you!
You got it, boss! Shutting up now!
Anyway, Kyoko, you actually did have a reason to kill her.
Huh? She did?
She thought Mukuro was the ultimate despair. In other words, the mastermind behind everything. So she killed her to try and put a stop to all this. Isn't that right, Kyoko? But you made one catastrophic mistake. Mukuro wasn't the mastermind at all. And as a result, we were forced into another trial. Something I'm sure you weren't at all expecting.
So, that was her motive?
If she had a motive and no alibi, well then, I think it's pretty clear Kyoko's gotta be the...
Ja.
I'm not the only one without an alibi. Makoto's explanation is still insufficient.
Huh?
The sprinklers didn't get the body wet, but that doesn't mean the murder happened when he said it did.
Wegen dem Tar.
What are you...
Because you see, there is a way the body could have avoided getting wet.
Interesting. I'm listening.
All it would take is covering the body with a certain something to keep it from getting wet.
I got it!
Kyoko kämpft gegen
About
uns.
this tarp, aren't you?
You catch on quick. You're right. All you'd have to do is cover the body with the tarp, and that'd take care of the water. In fact, that's exactly what the killer did. The dirt pattern on the tarp can attest to that. Only one side of the tarp got dirty, because that's the side that got covered in water. The side that faced down over the body, meanwhile, kept perfectly clean. This proves that the killer used the tarp to keep the body from getting soaked.
But why would they go to all that effort just to keep the body from getting wet?
Most likely so they could cloud the issue of when the murder actually took place. In other words, to create an excuse exactly like the one Makoto just gave us.
Why would Kyoko say that? Why would she... Ah, that tarp. It was you. The tarp must have touched the body, right? But the body...
Wait, something's not right.
And what might that be?
I can't worry about Kyoko's motivations. If I don't do something, everyone's gonna think I'm the killer. I have to refute what Kyoko said. Mit dem Blut, dass das noch nicht ausgetreten ist. Body before the explosion brauche ich.
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty.
Yes.
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
Yes.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
Yes.
Because that side was protected from the water. Shoot!
Ja, war es.
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was is because the sprinkler got that side.
But the underside of it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty.
No, that's wrong.
Das Blut hätte auf dem Tab sein müssen.
Actually, one side being clean is pretty strange if you think about it. Because the blood wasn't dry before the body got blown up, right? Byakuya said it himself. Not to touch it, or you might get some on you. If you put a tarp on a body in that state, it absolutely would have gotten blood on it.
Well, maybe the culprit washed it, so nobody would know they'd used it.
If they had, they would have washed both sides. Just washing the one side wouldn't hide anything.
Oh, yeah, true.
More than that, what if the very blood we saw on the body was meant as a kind of camouflage?
Huh? The blood was camouflage?
Got it. After the killer used the tarp to avoid the sprinklers, they then covered the body in blood that didn't belong to the victim.
You mean someone else's blood? Where would they get something like that?
Immer noch aus dem Kühlschrank.
No, they could have grabbed some of the blood packs from the nurse's office. That's what Hifumi did, right? When he pretended to be dead?
No, that's not what happened this time. The killer got the blood from right there in the garden.
Das Chicken?
I got it! Could it have been chicken blood?
What? Chicken blood?
When I checked the chicken coop before the murder, there were 5 chickens. But after the murder, there were only 4.
So, you're saying someone killed a chicken? And then covered the body with its blood? Man, that's messed up.
Killing a living thing just to do something like that is awful. They should have at least eaten it.
Die Pflanze hat's
I
gegessen.
wonder if the killer had to get the blood from the scene so they wouldn't be spotted walking around. Anyway, There's no denying that a chicken went missing, which provides a basis for my theory.
Perhaps, but even so, there's one thing that still doesn't make sense. You said the culprit used the tarp to avoid the water and then covered the body in blood, right? But if that's the case, then the blood should have soaked into the ground around the body. But that's not what we saw. Only the victim's clothing had blood on it. The ground was completely clean.
I have to agree, that certainly is strange. Maybe they didn't apply the blood at the scene. Maybe they covered the coat in blood beforehand.
They covered it beforehand?
When you discovered the body, was it wearing the coat like you normally would?
I think so. Wait, no. The head was through the neck hole, but the arms weren't in the sleeves.
Und es ist falsch rum, oder?
Then that settles it.
Sorry, I'm having a tough time keeping up. What settles what?
Here's what happened. The murder took place before the sprinklers went off, but the body didn't get wet because the killer covered it with the tarp. Then, later, at the same time the killer was gathering up the tarp, they pulled the coat over the body. The coat they'd already covered in blood. This series of cover-ups was meant to disguise the actual time the murder occurred. They wanted us to think the murder happened sometime after the sprinklers had gone off, at 7:30.
Das ist sehr krass gegen mich.
If that's actually what took place, it certainly becomes possible that the murder happened earlier.
But to pull all that off, wouldn't they have had to go back to the garden after the sprinklers turned off?
That actually wouldn't have been all that difficult.
Huh?
They already had the coat ready, so they just had to grab the tarp and pull the coat over the body. They'd be done in no time.
Maybe, but still.
Hina, after you met up with Makoto in the dining hall, did you two stay together from that point on?
Nein.
Oh no. I headed off to the gym, and Makoto didn't show up till later.
Then he had plenty of time to spare, wouldn't you say?
That's not...
Don't bother saying it's not possible.
I must admit, Kyoko's reasoning is sound. Makoto's alibi is inadequate.
And the suspicious falls back on me again, but why? Why is Kyoko trying to entrap me? I don't understand. Uff. Neue Sachen werden hinzugefügt, während die Debatte abläuft.
Well then, it looks like we're back to square one.
Und das ist ein Moment, wo man sagen kann, die Episode ist vorbei. Alter! Das ist mega interessant gerade. Aber ich muss die Folge beenden wegen Speicherplatz. Ich bedanke mich ganz herzlich fürs Zusehen. Ich wünsche euch einen wunderschönen Tag. Und sage tschüss, dann und man sieht sich. Ciao!